Hi. This graphic I developed to represent the NHS Evergreen Assessment, which I always believe is a bit of a journey. So it takes companies from being level 1, which is where they're just starting out, to developing, to establish, and then finally they're leading the pack. And it's a process of continual improvement. No companies have ever got it right at all. It's always going to be, there's always going to be room for improvement and opportunities. At level 1, you do need a net zero carbon commitment in place, and you need a plan that's publicly available and signed on your website. So I'm going to go through a bit of that criteria, but it's absolutely fine. If you've not received an award, you have the outcome, it says no level awarded, that's fine. There's some really easy tweaks that we can get into place to get you to that level 1 and take the sweat off your brow. So if I take you through these 4 different levels, I would say that level 1 is definitely that fundamental level. You've got a carbon reduction plan in place. Make sure it aligns with the government guidance. It contains scope 1, which is fuel burnt. So think of that usually as your company car mileage, gas burnt in your office. Scope 2, the electricity that you procure. So that's the bill with your name at the top. And then scope 3 it is everything else. So you only need to actually report on a subset of scope 3 in level 1. But you need to be starting to get your head around, what is scope 3? How am I going to capture all this data? Because if you want to progress right up to level 4, scope 3 is a hugely important part of that. At every level, you're required to set forth your environmental management measures. So that means, how are you reducing carbon year on year? And it doesn't have to be anything hugely impactful, but the Evergreen are asking you to think. So it wants to show that you have evidenced the fact that you have got a plan in place to reduce that carbon footprint. At level 2 as well, you've got that modern slavery statement online that just goes above what is usually compliant, and you're starting to think about social value at level 2 as well. I really like this particular table because I think for me it just makes a lot of sense. So in the left-hand column, you've got all the different criteria. And then you've got in the different columns, you've got the different levels that you work your way up through with the Evergreen Assessment. Today, I don't know whether the procurement outcome will reflect better if you are a level 4 against a level 1. But we have to assume that you need to be a level 1, and it would be advantageous to be pushing the boundary under all this criteria to try and mature across those different levels. And it can be done at every size of company as well. Please don't be scared off and thinking, oh, level 4, I need a sustainability team and I need a huge budget. No, not at all. These things can be proportional. But let's just have a quick look at level 1. So I'm requiring those environmental reduction measures to be set out there. I like to see them in the carbon reduction plan, which should be prominent on the website. It's got your scope 1, it's got your scope 3 and scope 2, and it's got a subset of scope 3. So that's your annual data. Now, if you've only been operating for a couple of months, that's fine. You probably still need a carbon reduction plan in order to be able to procure with the NHS. So we can either provide a gap and gap estimate, but it's about having that methodology in place and saying, hey, I've only been set up for 2 months, but this is what has been my emissions so far, so I'm going to assume it's 12 months, but next year I'm going to come at you with a much better plan. But it's about documenting that and articulating rather than going, I can't do this. Then the geographical boundary as well. UK boundary is obviously level 1 and level 2, and then it starts to push into level 3 and level 4 for more global entities. But I would start questioning that as you if you are securely achieving level 1 and you are part of a European country or a global company, I would start thinking about, well, actually, can we expand our reporting boundaries to include these other entities, these other regions that we're working in? The net zero carbon commitment year, that has to be clearly stated, and that's what you're working towards. That's your goal. That's where we're headed. The high performers, so this is level 4, they require another third party badge of approval. So that's either a B Corp or EcoVadis or CDP, but you don't need to worry about that if you're more immature in the Evergreen assessment.